This is the Bestway Steel Pro MAX round above ground pool set. The shape is round, and it comes in this nice gray color, which actually looks pretty modern and fits easily into most backyards. When I first heard about above ground pools like this, I was honestly a bit skeptical. I grew up thinking only big, expensive in-ground pools could really hold up to the summer. But after actually setting this up, I see why so many people go for it. Let me jump into my quick review and share my experience so far. The setup process was something I was a bit nervous about. I'd never installed a pool before, so I was worried about it being complicated. But honestly, it was pretty simple. One of the key features that really stood out to me was you don't need special tools or professional help. It's basically a steel frame, and all the parts have this click connect system. That means each piece clicks into the next. No extra screws, wrenches, or nervous moments trying to follow a bunch of confusing instructions. The whole process took me about an hour, and I took my time, double-checking as I went. If you've never set up an above-ground pool before, just know you'll lay out the liner first, connect the frame around it, and then stand up each leg so the structure takes its shape. In my opinion, the build quality is solid for its price range. The frame is made out of steel and has a rust-resistant coating. That's really important, especially if you live somewhere hot or with lots of sun. I live in Arizona where the sun can be brutal, and the coating really helps protect the metal from rusting and looking old fast. The liner itself, which is basically the thick plastic that holds all the water, feels much stronger than the old-school inflatable options. Bestway calls it a Tritech liner, and it's made up of 3 layers, a mesh base sandwiched between 2 layers of PVC. It feels sturdy and so far hasn't faded or gotten brittle, even after being in the sun every day. I think it's perfect for families with kids or pets because random bumps and scratches don't seem to be a problem. From my experience after using this pool over multiple summers, the durability has surprised me the most. Most days, especially during the summer, my kids are in there splashing, inviting their friends, and the pool has handled all that activity with minimal wear. There are a few signs of normal use, like a tiny tear near the top which I patched up with a kit that's easy to find online, but nothing that makes me worry. For something used almost every day, I'd say it holds up better than advertised. I should mention how the pool feels to use. It holds about 2,700 gallons when pretty full, and you can easily fit several adults or a bunch of kids. The round shape isn't just for looks. The way the water pushes evenly against all sides makes everything feel stable, even when the kids splash around like crazy. When they run and crash into the soft side, nothing tips or wobbles. The pool is just deep enough to let everyone sit, float, or play games without hitting the bottom too easily. One of the key features is the included filter pump. It's not the strongest thing I've seen, but it helps circulate water and keeps things from getting cloudy. The pump connects with 2 hoses. One pulls water out, the other sends it back in. The filtration system works fine for average use, though if you plan to host bigger gatherings or swim daily, you might eventually want to look at upgrading. It comes with a simple cartridge filter, which you'll need to rinse or change every so often, depending on use. Bestway also includes a chemical dispenser that attaches inside the pool, letting you skip those annoying floating chlorine holders. Just load your chlorine tabs into it and you're done. If you're new to pool upkeep, this might sound a little overwhelming, but honestly, it's mostly just about checking things every week. Skim out leaves, run the pump, and check your chlorine, and you're set. There's also a built-in flow control valve that makes draining the pool pretty simple. Hook up a hose, and the water can drain out safely instead of flooding your whole yard. This is a big help when it comes to cleaning or packing up for the winter. Speaking of packing up, another thing I wondered about was what to do when summer ends. I learned that taking the pool down and storing it dry really does help prevent issues like mold or cracking from cold weather. It's something to keep in mind if you live somewhere with harsh winters. Honestly, the biggest challenge with this pool isn't setup or maintenance. It's making sure you store it the right way when you aren't using it for months at a time. At around 45 pounds, the pool is lightweight enough for 1 or 2 people to move around without much struggle, but once it's set up and full, it has real presence. Even with rough use, kids throwing balls, jumping, and floating on big toys, the pool has held its shape well. There's some minor paint wear on the outside metal bars, and I did see just a touch of surface rust after a while, but nothing that seems like a real problem. If you keep up with basic cleaning, it stays in good shape. I'd recommend this for anyone who wants the pool experience without spending a fortune or doing serious backyard construction. If you're on the fence because you think it's too basic, in my experience, it really checks all the boxes. It's easy to use, tough, and delivers a lot of fun for families, couples, or anyone who loves cooling off in the backyard. It doesn't have fancy built-in stairs, lights, or automatic vacuums, but for most people, those are extras you can add later. The most important things, durability, safety, enough space, and low overhead, are all here. The only drawbacks, in my opinion, come down to patience. Filling the pool for the first time takes a while, especially if your water pressure is average. I waited several hours, which felt like forever, with my kids staring longingly at the growing puddle. The filter pump is decent but not amazing, so if you're serious about sparkling clear water every single day, plan for some upgrades or extra cleaning time. Since it comes with just the basics, expect to pick up a few extra things like a skimmer net and a test kit for pool chemicals. I also want to mention that the design isn't flashy, but it is modern and clean enough that it actually looks good on most lawns or patios. The outside lining has a subtle brown wicker print, which keeps it from looking like a giant blue plastic toy. All in all, it's a practical, simple design that's more about function than showing off. That suits me just fine, since I care much more about whether my investment will last for years. In conclusion, from my time with the Bestway Steel Pro MAX round above ground pool set, I think it's a fantastic choice for families, parties, or anyone wanting a reliable, budget-friendly pool solution. It's easy to set up, doesn't eat up a lot of space, and has held up really well under the Arizona sun and heavy daily use. If you treat it right, regular cleaning, store it during winter, maybe look at a better filter with time, you'll get years of fun out of it. For anyone who's thinking about getting a pool but feels nervous about the work or the cost, I'd say this is a great way to try it out without going all in. I will share detailed information about the Bestway Steel Pro MAX round above ground pool set in the comments section, everyone. Thank you for watching.